I just did the Your Peak Life podcast, and in this podcast, I was able to talk about my upbringing, how I started in real estate, some of the struggles I faced in real estate, and how I was able to overcome them, starting my team, and the future for expansion for my company. But my favorite thing I actually talked about in this podcast, which a story I always tell of the bamboo tree. So if you want to hear that, so if you want to learn more about my story, make sure you watch. Have you heard that concept of the bamboo tree, right?
Oh,
Have
yeah.
y'all heard of that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so the bamboo tree is basically like, you'll plant that seed and it looks like it's not growing versus your other trees, they may grow high,
Yeah.
whatever. But the bamboo tree, eventually after 5 years, it grows out and it's strongest, it's biggest and everything. But for 5 years, it didn't look like it was growing at all. That was basically me.
Welcome to the Your Peak Life podcast. Let's conquer the summit of life and reach the apex of our potential.
All right, welcome to another edition of Your Peak Life podcast. Julian Rivera, Edgar Sphere Munez. We got Michael Burke from the Bottle Little, and we got the one and only, the legendary, the GOAT, the young gun, the locally bred with the Yeezys on his feet, Chris in the house. What up, Doug?
What's up, man? What's up? I appreciate y'all having me on. This is
man.
cool, man. I really
Thank
like
you.
y'all setup. Like, you really built this out.
Mr. Assets
With what
himself.
we got. Working with what we got.
If you look back at the old ones, you'll see that this wasn't on the wall at times.
Yeah,
They didn't
that's
paint it
nice.
black.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
levels.
Yeah,
Right?
it's
I,
all-
went from a decal to a light,
Okay, y'all keep on climbing. Okay.
I mean, it's comparable like when you started real estate. You weren't assets day one, right?
Yeah,
You
no,
know,
sir.
it's levels, and you just keep evolving. But
Yeah.
like you, I'm from the beach.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I went here. What high school did you go to?
Man, I actually transferred to private school in high school. So I
Okay.
went to Atlantic Shores, which is in Chesapeake.
Yep.
So like right near that border of
Right.
Chesapeake and Virginia Beach.
That's right by your old neighborhood.
Okay.
Like literally right there. So then you transferred there to what elementary school? What middle school?
Yeah, so growing up, I went to Bird Neck Elementary.
Okay.
And then I actually got homeschooled in 6th grade because we were supposed to move to Charlotte.
Okay.
But that ended up not working out. So then when we were still here, I came back. Well, I didn't go anywhere, but I went to Lansdowne.
Gotcha.
7th grade, Lansdowne Middle.
Okay.
And then I went through my whole middle school there. And then when I got to 9th grade, that's when I went to Atlantic Shores.
Okay. So
Yeah.
I started at Allenton Elementary.
Okay.
Then I transferred to Star of the Sea Catholic School, and then they gave me a choice that summer to go to public school or to go to Catholic High.
Yeah.
What do you think I chose?
Public school.
All day.
Of course.
I'm going over here, and then I went to FC, and that was a wrap. So the whole oceanfront was my backyard basically. But like you, you know what I'm saying, you've been here pretty much your whole life.
Yeah, born and raised. And it's crazy. Now we're talking about you had that choice, like choosing between public school and private school. I didn't have that choice.
Okay.
Like when I first went to Atlantic Shores, the reason why I went to Atlantic Shores was because my mom made me. She was like, your friends, like you're going down a bad path, you got bad influences around you, you don't have no choice but to go to Atlantic Shores. Like literally there's a picture of me out there. Like she told me on my birthday when I was in 8th grade that I had to go to Atlantic Shores. And, birthday, you take a picture with your family, all
Yep.
that. And I'm literally scowling. Like, I'm so mad at this point because I just found out I had to go to private school. But it ended up being one of the best things for me, just over the long-term things that it's taught me. And, just dealing with all types of different people in different situations.
I agree, because now you had the best of both worlds.
Exactly.
That's kind of what I put. Like I can
Yep.
say that firsthand as well. So you got to experience both sides of the coin. And
Exactly.
you can speak to it firsthand. And you're how old now?
25.
25 years old. You've been in real estate how long now?
Almost 5 years. I started when I was 20.
Before you could legally drink.
Yeah,
Keyword
exactly.
legally.
Yeah, legally.
So then, we all have our story on what's your why. Why'd you get into this game? Out of all the choices, especially at 20,
Yeah.
all these other angles that you could have went, why did you choose real estate?
Yeah, man. So I kind of have a different story than people when they traditionally get into real estate. A lot of people when they get in real estate, they know people in real estate like a family member, or they have some understanding, some love of real estate. I did not care about real estate whatsoever before I joined real estate. Like, it was to the point, like, HGTV, my mom would watch that, and I would literally walk out the room because I don't care. Like, I don't want to know nothing about
Yeah.
houses.
Well, even now, it's not that.
Yeah.
Facts. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And then, so why I even got into real estate is because, give a little backstory. I grew up as like an athlete, as a football player. That was literally my identity, was being an athlete. And I had worked as hard as possible to get scholarships. And that's what I did. I had a bunch of scholarships going out of high school. And I chose one school and, was getting ready for training camp, going through all that. And then literally a week before school started, I lost my scholarship, or my scholarship got revoked. And there was
shit.
nothing, it wasn't my fault. It wasn't anything that I did. It just, choice was out of my hands. So at that point, you got to think it's 1 week before school started. So, I don't know what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
So, I just decided, all right, I'm going to do something. So I went to community college, was working some temp jobs, doing some different things. And I realized, like, okay, this can't be the ultimate goal. Like, I'm destined for something bigger than life than just working at Enterprise and Foot Locker.
Right.
So I realized, like, okay, what can I do? Like, what's my next step now? I don't have a college degree, anything like that. So I thought I couldn't work a corporate job, anything like that. So I was thinking, all right, military. I got to go to the military. That's the next step. So that's what I started to do, like fill out the process for going in the military. I was going to do Air Force. I did the ASVAB, got a great score, like 90 plus on the ASVAB, was going to do intelligence, get top security clearance. But my issue, what happened was I couldn't go to MEPS because I have a heart murmur. Now, remember, I'm an athlete, so I've been playing sports all my life. So the heart murmur is there. It's really nothing.
Right.
But when you are trying to go through MEPS and all of that, you go to doctors, all of those things. So it was literally
very,
like a year
very
long.
aware.
Yeah, yeah. So it's like a year-long process. And at this point, I'm like, man, I can't keep on waiting. So at Enterprise, I was cleaning cars. That was my job at Enterprise.
Okay.
Not even sales, just cleaning cars. And when I was cleaning cars, I would listen to podcasts instead of listening to music and things like that. And one particular podcast, one of the hosts, he was always talking about real estate. I'm like, all right, man, like I've been hearing him talk about this for months straight. Like, it's got to be something to it. And then I started doing some of my own research. And then what I realized he was talking about was real estate investing. Now, at the time, I'm 19. I'm like, man, I'm 19. I don't have no money. How much? I can't get into real estate investing. So I didn't let that discourage me, though. I started exploring some other routes. And then real estate agent, that popped up. And remember, I'm working at Foot Locker at the time, so I'm in sales. I'm selling shoes, though. And literally my mindset was, if I could sell shoes,
I could sell
houses.
Absolutely.
Exactly. So I decided to take that journey into real estate. And the reason that real estate just attracted me so much versus the military, I love the stability. I love the structure, but I didn't like how you could be the best at what you're doing.
And get the same check, dog.
Exactly. And you have to wait a certain amount to rank up. So I was like, okay, so I can be better
Tell
than
me
my
more. Listen, bro. That's
so
literally
I could be
why
better
I
than my
left.
superiors.
Like,
I could be
like,
20 times better
bro.
than them, but they're making more than me. They're at higher rank. I have to salute them, do all this stuff, but I'm better than them.
Yep.
That just didn't make any sense to me. But real estate, it's just an unlimited ceiling. You can go as high as you want to go. So that's why I got into real estate in the first place.
Good.
So how'd you... Sorry, I'm going to jump in.
No, go.
All right, cool.
Apologize.
So how do you go from I'm listening to podcasts while I'm cleaning cars to a successful solo agent to now you're running a team, right? Tell us a little bit about what's your first experience like? Who helped you get in the game? Because there's always somebody that helps you.
Yeah.
Where do you currently hang your license? Who do you lead now?
Yep.
We want to talk about that
All day.
Yeah.
What's up? Because that's your peak life. We want to talk about your ascension.
Yeah,
So,
for sure.
We know
for
the
sure.
baseline. Now you're.
Yeah, just keep on going up. So it's crazy. So when I started in real estate, of course, I was 20 years old. How the first company that I started working with them because when I applied for real estate, I knew like to get a job you had to go on Indeed, right? I didn't know anybody in real estate. I didn't know like nothing.
But you knew Indeed.
Yeah, I knew Indeed. If you need a job,
That's
you go to
funny.
Indeed. There
We
was two
put-
people that were
That's
hiring,
funny.
people who weren't licensed. So I applied for both. One never called me back, and then one did. So I ended up going with them. And I started when I was 20, of course. My first year, literally, I say it's right when the world shut down. My market of when the world shut down
True.
COVID.
is when the NBA shut down. Like, that's when you know COVID was like
That's
for
when
real.
I opened the company.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a crazy time.
Yo, wild.
And literally, because I'm brand new to real estate, like I was showing up to the office and nobody was there.
Yep.
And remember, I'm 20. I have no corporate experience. I don't know nothing for real. So I'm like, okay, what do I do? I knew to work hard, but I didn't know what to do. So I was going through that struggle, and that ended up leading me to my first year. I started in March. Till the end of the year, I only sold 2 houses. Sold one in August, sold one in November.
It's 2020.
Yep, in
Okay.
2020. And remember, real estate was my full-time job.
Right.
I quit everything.
Yeah,
I
so you're
quit
struggling.
Enterprise.
You're struggling. Let's
Yeah.
call it what it is.
I was struggling. I quit Enterprise,
Hard.
quit Foot Locker, and then I'm younger, right? So my crowd, in 2020, there was a thing called PPP, unemployment loans, things
Already
like
know.
that.
Already know.
So everybody, all my friends were basically hood rich.
Right.
Everybody,
Riding that
going to
wave
Miami,
and-
popping bottles.
Yeah.
all of
Instead,
that.
you're trying to figure out how to run a company.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to figure out how to start a new business. And, people are like, man, forget that. Like, bro, come out to Miami with us. I'm like, man, I can't, you know. So it's just that constant struggle. It even got to the point like holiday time, you know, my parents, I know they have the best intentions for me, but my dad, he was like, you know, got this FedEx opening coming up. Like, you want to take that job? This is how you can get some money. And, like, that was kind of humiliating for me because I'm like, dang, they really seeing me struggle. Like, people can actually see me struggle. But I just stuck it out. And, yeah, that first year, the first year was definitely a struggle, but it made me who I am today. It definitely developed my armor. Got used to hearing those no's. And then the next year, I was able to do 24 deals. So it's like, okay, we're starting to build. And
That's
then
21, right?
21, exactly.
So in 21, from your struggle in year 1 to what I would consider success in year 2, 24 deals in year 2 is a great second year in real estate. Yeah. What's the catalyst there? Is there a relationship? Did you meet somebody? Did you gain a business partner? Did you have a mentor? Did you change your environment? Like what changed for you?
So I think the biggest transition was in late 2020. I got hooked up with a great mentor, and she was amazing. She was able to really give me the game and just.
There's always something.
Exactly.
Man. There's always something.
She was, because up until that point, like from March to like late 2020, I was kind of doing things on my own. Yeah. Like I was, you know, doing YouTube research and things like that, but there was never that direct connection, that real one-on-one.
Yep.
So when I actually got with that mentor, she was able to tell me like, hey, these are the things I do, these are the things I recommend, and you can just add that on to what you're doing. Yeah. So now, instead of just working hard, now I realize, okay, this is how you actually convert people. Because I was having all the conversations, I was making all my cold calls, doing that, but I was failing because I didn't know how to convert people, you know? So that was one of the big changes. And also, too, it's just like, have you heard that concept of the bamboo tree? Right?
Oh, yeah.
Have y'all heard of that? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so the bamboo tree is basically like, you know, you'll plant that seed and it looks like it's not growing versus your other trees, you know, they may grow high, whatever. But the bamboo tree, eventually after 5 years, it grows out and it's strongest, it's biggest and everything. But for 5 years, it didn't look like it was growing at all. That was basically me. Now, it didn't take 5 years, thank God. But it took a while.
But that's a general business analogy. Like,
exactly.
You know, if you open a business or run a franchise or grow something, like, you know, 5 years is like minimal.
It's gonna take a minute.
Yeah.
Right? There's literally a viral reel from Ice Cube. He's like, if you're not gonna spend 5 years, don't even waste your time
without making a dime.
Yeah. Like, for real.
What did they say? You're not willing to put in 5 years to grow something that's for you, but you're willing to risk 30 years working for somebody else or something like some analogy. They say that all the time.
But let me ask you something. Taking it back to 2020, you're young also. You know,
he was 60 at that age, by the way.
Yeah,
that year, excuse me.
So
he's got
keep noting. Just keep noting. I haven't said nothing to the guy. So, but I'll hit him with them shots. So, at 2020, you're 20 years old.
Yeah.
Also, I'm guessing going to the school you went to, your parents, you know, you have that nice foundation. It kind of, you know, I would say most people young, they'd be pissed off. Maybe disgruntled. Maybe just quit altogether.
Yeah.
Like, what kept you in it? Like, where was that little? I know you picked up a mentor. I mean, were you just keep searching, like, out there in the industry? Like, why didn't you just say, like all these?
You're basically asking him why he didn't give up.
Yeah,
90% of the, or what is it, 75% of the people within that first year are gone.
Quit,
And just so you know, English is his second language.
It is.
All right, so
yeah, you didn't give up, but like you weren't pissed off either. It doesn't sound like it.
I was definitely pissed off every day.
Say it again. Yeah, you were mad.
Absolutely.
Yeah, especially because
just disgruntled with the company you're with or whatever.
For sure. 100%, but I just didn't give up because I'm a big principle person, you know, and I'm big on saying my word. And if I commit to something, I'm going to do it. And I just know just basic principles, just laws of life. Also, I'm big on faith, you know, and I just know that if you put in work, God's going to reward you for it. Like, there's no way it's not going to happen. Now, the thing is how long it's going to take.
Yeah.
And mine, it took like forever to me.
But it's just.
It seems that way.
Yeah.
Can you tolerate it?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Are you built for this or are you not built for it?
Well,
Sound like you're built for it.
Yeah, exactly. You just got to be built for it. And it's just like finding a way. I'm glad I went through that now because like I can relate to people.
Yeah,
like I didn't have that pop in first year, which most people don't. So like now I can relate to my agents, to anybody else. I'm like, all right.
Well,
let's if you don't have a great first year.
Let's talk about that though. Let's hit year 3, year 4.
Okay.
I don't know if you know this about me, but I know everything about you and everybody that works for you.
Okay.
He's a nerd, by the way. He does his research.
There's nothing wrong with
that. But, you know, people see your growth and they see you leading other people now. They see you creating a brand. How'd you go from a top performing solo agent to I'm actually going to make my own brand and I'm going to lead a team, right?
Yeah,
because that's what you're doing.
Yeah,
So,
great question. So how'd I go to that? Really, the reason why I first made a team in the first place is because even taking it back to 2022, that's when I was really able to establish my business 100% social media based, where I didn't need any leads, anything like that, right? So 2022, cool. All right, we're 100% social media based. Now we're getting to mid 2023. And that's when my social media really started popping off, like hundreds of thousands of views, tens of thousands of followers, all of these things. I'm like, okay, because all of the, attention from that came leads also too.
Of course.
But also at that point, I didn't necessarily have the capacity to constantly check my DMs, all of these things. I realized I didn't know what requests were for a while, or hidden requests.
Yeah.
So I looked in my requests one day, I had like 70 leads, like hot leads, people who wanted to buy or sell a house.
They want to do
like,
business. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, man, how did I miss out on this?
You got to scale.
So that's exactly, yeah. So that's when I realized, like, okay, I need to bring somebody else on.
Absolutely.
Because I just can't handle all these leads myself, right? So then I brought on my first agent, and I was able to, my first agent actually, he was licensed with a different company, I want to say for a year with nothing. He didn't know how to write a contract when he got to me. I'm like, goodness gracious, like, where are we at? And then when he got with me, I want to say within 60 days, he was able to close his first deal from a lead that I had given him. So I'm like, all right, this is cool. Like, not only am I agent impacting, my clients' lives, now I can, 2 times this with another person. They can impact their lives, and also I'm impacting him and his family's lives.
Absolutely.
So I brought him on, and then a few months later, I brought on another agent. And then a few months later, that's when we made the big switch, and we brought on the big team. At first, I didn't want to have a big team at first. I just wanted to have a small team. But I realized, like, just the power of, empowering other people. And there's a lot of people, there's a lot of people who want to get in this industry, but they're scared because they feel like the people who have leadership in this industry don't look like them, don't resonate with them, none of that. And with me, they can look at me, 25-year-old kid, you see tattoos down my arms, I'm chilling. This is what I wear on appointments. I'm not dressing up in a suit or anything like that. Yeah. So people can relate to me. So it's like, okay, cool. Now we're relatable. Now I'm going to teach you the game on how to do real estate, how to be successful in real estate also.
Man, you sound like me. You sound like us.
Yeah.
Because I came from...
I throw a snazzy suit on every now and then.
I mean, there's a time and place. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But to be fair, we all go to our appointments looking like this.
Yeah.
Like the know, like, and trust factor, and get the relatability in there too. You're going to be able to get that person better than the used car salesman look. Yeah. This is straight up. This is what it is.
But I also, like, if we're going to a venue, like best of.
I mean, that's a different story, though.
Yeah. Or the company party, or, what I'm saying?
Sure.
Like, I'm going to ensure. Yeah. Or if I'm on the stage at somebody's venue, like, what I'm saying? Like, you got to know who's in the room.
For sure.
You know what I mean? Like,
situational,
But the average everyday person, I swung by the Marriott this morning. I'm going back after this to be a part of that event. I'm not going to put on a suit to go get educated. Does that make sense? Like, if I was teaching, I would.
Yeah.
But the fact that I'm going to sit in the crowd, I'll dress like a regular person, man. Yeah. Like, it just doesn't make no sense to me to... Who are you impressing? Like, I want to be comfortable. I'm probably going to write some stuff. You know what I mean? Like, get some coffee. Like,
all day.
Just be functional.
Yeah.
And that's what I love. And also, I'm a huge, like, brand concept guy. Everything I do, I have a book. I have multiple companies. I have trending hashtags. You know what I'm saying? Like, the assets thing is fire.
Thank you know
man.
That. I appreciate
but it's classic. It's timeless. An asset is anything that's real estate related. So there's a play on words. He knows I'm a huge, just music fan in general. The play on words.
Yeah.
I can appreciate all of that. So let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Where'd you come up with that?
Yeah. First off,
that creative moment. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm glad you brought up the
music thing. It takes a while to get
thing.
the team name.
Yeah, it does, man.
A good one, right?
Yeah, because I knew I didn't want to make it the Chris A. Williams team. I'm like, that's
Thank
lame
you.
to me.
Right.
Yes.
Because also too,
a brand.
when I was coming up, like when I first started, I was under a company where it was somebody's name, and I was just like, as I started to grow, I'm like, okay, I'm doing these things for myself.
There's
like,
a
why
cap
do I
on
have
that.
to-
I can't
Exactly.
individually
Why do I
brand
have to be
myself.
under this
Absolutely.
person? Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was kind of the struggle too. That's when I realized the importance of building a brand too, because they wanted everything to be
Brand
their
recognition.
thing. I'm like, okay, but what happens if for whatever reason you decide you don't want to work with me anymore? Now I have to start my whole business over. Like,
Yep.
it doesn't really make sense. to me.
Yeah, but
So that's
now
when I
you got
realized-
something that you could take to any company
Exactly.
and do a co-branding situation.
Yep.
And it's all good. It doesn't matter
100%.
because the people are still being serviced by assets, and you can push that with your team
Yeah.
while also honoring your brokerage.
All day.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So
Exactly. So yeah, my first brand was I Am Chris A. Williams, and then we transitioned to assets. And how I thought of assets, really, it was a long process with that. Just coming up with a team name. I'm like, man, what can I name us that really hasn't been used by anybody in this market? Because I feel like everything's been used by people in this market at this point. And I just came up with assets. I'm like, all right, we're really focused on real estate investing, you know, all of these things. So
Yeah.
an asset is something that's applicable for everybody. You know, it's not something that I have to
It's
really
universal,
explain.
man.
Exactly.
I love it.
Everybody knows what assets is. And it's funny that I actually got pushback from a good amount of people that that I was seeking advice for.
can I
with the
tell you a
assets thing.
story? First
Mm-hmm.
of all, you didn't call me. I probably could have helped you out. Secondly, nah, because he's seeking guidance from people.
Yeah,
I'm out here
for
killing
sure.
the game. Let's be
Yeah,
real. Let's call it
100%.
what it is.
Yeah.
Sure.
Me and Eric experienced more kickback than you could ever imagine
Mm-hmm.
when we said in 2020 we're gonna open Iron Valley. People was talking mad shit.
Mm. Yeah.
Ain't no valleys in Virginia, and that's it. That's not gonna
Yeah,
work. And
yeah.
you know, this is the East Coast. It's a beach town.
Yeah.
You guys are talking about some Midwest blue collar stuff and
Yeah.
da 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 da. Well,
It worked out.
which camera? That one. You were all wrong. You know,
It worked
but
out.
that's you were right to go against the grain and go with your gut. That's my point there.
Yeah.
My book cover, remember? I was like, hey guys, which one do you like? And then I didn't listen to anybody. Guess what? #1 bestseller.
Yeah.
So
but also we don't know because we didn't get to try out the one we picked.
That is
Which
very-
one?
that's Touche.
You know what I'm saying?
it could have won too. That's fair. It could have did well.
It was fire.
It was, but you know, there's
They
just
were both good.
There was
But
no-
yeah,
no
for
wrong
sure.
answer
But
in
there's
that
just a
scenario.
certain time where you, as a human,
Yeah.
have to know like, this is what I want to do,
Exactly.
and do that shit.
Yep.
There's
It's
a-
that simple.
There's just a point where everything that you're doing, like even your past life affects currently what you're doing.
Yeah.
And your story and
Yeah.
your swag and what you bring to the table literally correlates with everything you're doing.
Yeah.
But most importantly, the team, game recognized game. That's why you're at 15 agents now.
About so, yeah.
Let's just go for it. You're gonna be at 30 by the end of the year. Let's just
Depends
say
on
what
when
it
this
is.
podcast comes out. We
Right.
might be at 50. Who knows?
So forward thinking, right? But I mean, that's where it is. You're just not changing you, and you're doing what
Yeah.
you're doing. I
Well-
mean, but I always like to say we all fail.
Yeah.
But it's not the way that you think of losing. It's failing forward. First attempt in learning. That's what I
Yeah.
use that acronym for. When
Yeah.
people say they're broke, I'm like, you're not broke. It's your brain.
Yeah.
You're just not thinking where you're supposed to be yet. But
Yeah.
you already knew at 20. By the time you were 25, this is a place where you're going to be.
Yeah, 100%.
You might not have knew the name. You might not have known how it was going to be. You might not know where brokerage, but you already knew it.
Yeah, I
You're
knew it.
forecasting. You're thinking ahead. You knew where you were going to be.
100%.
The minute you said, I'm out of the military,
It
thank
was-
you for
it
everything
was-
you taught me.
It was
I'm out.
Honestly,
You
it
knew
was
it.
way before that.
Yeah.
But
You know what I'm
it's
saying? Like
you
I got, I
forecasting.
did it part time for 10 years because I knew real estate. You need a strong foundation, right?
Yeah.
Like everyone sees Iron Valley, like, oh, they killed it. Like, no, I built all of these relationships and all of this stuff for a decade
Yeah.
before
Right.
we open these
Yeah.
doors, and I still do it every single day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, because I don't know who really knows who or who works with who, but I know who works with me. And I know there's not a single person in our marketplace that will outwork me or our team. They do not exist. It's not even real. If you think that, you're lying to yourself. I don't know what you're watching or what rooms you're in, but it's almost impossible, bro. Like the work ethic is like sickening.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
you get hate from that. It's like, why are
Yeah.
you hating on me, bro? Like, what are you hating for?
But if you ain't doing something right, if you don't have haters, you're not
You
doing
ain't
something
popping.
right.
Yeah.
You
it's
gotta
just,
have
it's
haters.
just,
That's
it's
just
just
what
one of
it
those
is.
things, man. It comes with it.
But like
guess,
even like
but-
we went to a trip, you know, we're out there in Missouri, then we got little shots online, and then guess what? We're out there hanging out with Ryan Serhant. It was like, you're still watching us, right?
Right.
Yeah.
We didn't see any
Yeah,
more
like-
public posts about that.
Right.
I don't see you spending your money or taking your
Yep.
risk or traveling and
Facts.
sacrificing
Yeah.
your time with your family. Like, you don't know what we're doing to do what we do. So watch your mouth. You know what I'm saying? Like, it'd be crazy out here, bro. I'm not from around here. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
but you gotta, I just keep killing them. with a
haters
move.
Be your marketing team,
bro.
The great thing about social media is too, like if they're making bad comments or if they're sharing
they just
your
look
posts
stupid
to your friend, to their friends. Guess
Yeah.
what? That's great for the algorithm.
It's very
Now
true.
now the algorithm's
Appreciate
pushing
you.
stuff. Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let them be your
100%.
marketing team.
100%. So what's it look like for you? I mean, when you talk about forecasting,
Yeah.
you know, what's 3 to 5 years look like for you? You're gonna run a team. You're gonna open a company. You're gonna like, wait, what's next?
Chris is
Yeah.
30 years old.
You know what I'm
30 years
saying?
old.
Like,
Yeah.
oh,
Okay.
bro, that's
30 years old.
crazy.
Yes.
Yeah, man. One thing that's really important for me is family. And that's why I feel like I'm really working so hard right now because, like you said, just the work ethic, like how much I work, there's no way I can reasonably have a family right now. You know, I'm getting home like 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock some nights. You know, that's just no way I can have a family. But I do want to have a family, though.
Why
So-
do you think that is, though?
Why what?
That
Getting
you're-
home at 10.
Yeah.
You're speaking with everyone in here that has a family, by the way. So
Yeah.
that's why
So
we're
I'm
asking
just
you.
curious, like,
Like, why
What-
am I getting home so late, or what do you mean?
yeah. Like, what are you doing right now that is? Well, first of all, you're married. You have children.
No, neither.
Smart man.
Okay. So it doesn't really, almost at this point, it doesn't matter that you're working that late.
Exactly.
So
Yep,
let's talk about
exactly.
5 years from now.
Yeah.
How does Chris leverage his life to be where he wants to be?
Exactly. And that's one of the reasons why I made up the team also too, because I realized at a certain point for me, you only have 24 hours in a day, which I could work. Well, I can't work 24 hours in a day, but I could work a vast
could try.
majority. Yeah, I could try it. I could try it. But I'm going to get burnt out, right?
Absolutely.
But what I can do is I can put people in place. That's the way to scale the company, right?
Yes.
So bring in other people that can do a great amount of work also too. Now work is being done where I can step back. So my
Right.
goal is by the time I'm 30, where I'm pretty much semi-retired in a way, where I'm not actively in the field, you know, meeting with sellers, you know, speaking with buyers, anything like that. The team's just running that. You know, my sales manager, they're taking care of things. You know, we got our TC taking care of transactions, so on and so on. Where really my day is pretty much consisted of I can do it anywhere, whether I'm in Virginia, whether I'm in Cali, whether I'm in Dubai, whatever it is. I'm just taking Zooms, I'm just taking calls. And that's my way in which, okay, I can play with my kids or, you know, talk to my wife, things like that.
Absolutely.
Edgar, how many kids you got?
5 total.
I have five. I have 5 myself.
Wow.
3.
Okay.
So you're talking to guys that are living this. So that's what I'm saying. Like we
Yeah.
big bros to you, right?
Yeah, yeah,
In
for
theory.
sure.
So I asked that question because there's ways to do it,
Yeah,
but it's hard not
absolutely.
to understand it until you're in it,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
The minute you have that first one, it's like it's the egg. Don't
Yeah.
drop it; it's gonna break.
Yeah.
Once you have that second, third, it's like you're freaking good, right? But you
Yeah.
still want to treat it as the egg in theory. It's
Yeah.
just you don't know what you're getting yourself
But
into.
also, like, you know, if you're talking about a goal by 30, like, bro, you got 5 years.
That's a long
But not
time.
only that, let's be honest. By the time that 5-year hits, let's just say you have a family, you're gonna be invested in something else.
Yeah.
That's gonna take up your time.
That's true.
100%.
You
Yeah.
have the thought process of always going. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like
yeah.
we
I
can't
agree.
get complete. Like
I
this
agree.
freaking guy right here.
Yeah.
He just did this. He just did this. Oh, guess what? We can do this too. We can do this. We
Yeah.
can do this. We can do this. Now, to be fair, he knows how to scale it back. He's like, yo, my family needs this week, so I'm not going to do that. I know
Yeah.
how to scale it back because I know my family
It's
needs
called
me this week.
discernment.
Yeah, yeah,
You know,
for sure.
But we only learn by doing, though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
experience, 100%.
that's what
I only
happens.
know that because I wasn't always a great husband.
Yeah.
I only know that because I didn't always value other people's time. I only know that because certain life lessons. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
I can see now, like, okay, I need to be present. I need to handle this. Like,
Yep.
you figure it out, you
Yeah.
know? But if I have 5 years and no responsibilities, like,
Go in.
Is that?
yeah, bro. Not that you don't have responsibilities as far as bills or a
Yeah, yeah,
company
for
or
sure.
whatever, but like it becomes different
Yeah.
when you have a spouse and
Yeah.
children where like their life also depends on it, right?
100%.
Right now, your spouse and children is your business and your team
Exactly.
members,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
So, scaling that is really just about training your replacement.
Exactly.
That's probably over the course of the military and now these businesses, that has probably been like my biggest attribute is the ability to pass down that knowledge and not be
Yeah.
concerned about like Edgar's a principal broker now. Fantastic.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Some people would be envious of that or
Mm.
hate on that or try to hold him down from that. You know what I'm talking about.
do.
Every single one of you do.
Yeah.
All day.
I'm just not like that, right?
Yeah.
But what people don't see is that's why it takes me to another place.
Yeah.
Every time I let go and I teach, I grow.
Yeah.
Well, hold on. You
know what I
teach
mean?
and then you let go because you know you did
You
it
gotta
the right
do
way.
well. You gotta kind of like do both. Like you
Okay.
can't.
Yeah.
I can't go all in on one without executing some of the other. You know what
Okay.
I'm saying? Like, and that's discernment too. Like, How many times does somebody need to see something before they're proficient at it?
Right.
Yeah.
How many times do they have to do something before you could truly trust them?
Yeah.
What's actually a mistake? What can I let go? What can I accept? Because somebody like me, I would just be barking orders all damn day if I cared about every little
That
thing.
you would.
That, like there's stuff that happens that I don't necessarily agree with, but I have to let it go.
Yeah.
Let it happen. Like, it is what it is. Everybody's got an opinion. Everybody does things a different way. So that's going to be your hardest battle as a leader, is to understand several
And
things.
nobody's gonna care about your business like you.
Yeah,
Facts.
I agree.
100%.
100%. And they also, they care when it's convenient.
True.
I'll leave that where it lies.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, you got to set boundaries. Like, 15 people is very different than 350 people.
Yeah.
There's snakes in the grass. There's people with entitlement. There's people that think you owe them.
Yeah.
And even just your structure, it's very intimate. It's very family based, which is kind of how we built our company. But what happens is people start to blur lines of friendship and leadership.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Peer or owner. Like I'm not saying that I am above certain people, but what I'm saying is there's levels to this career.
Yeah.
There's levels to responsibility and liability. There's people that should be and shouldn't be answering certain questions. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
All day.
Yeah.
so that's your struggle. Are they representing your brand properly?
Yeah.
Are they writing that contract correctly? Are they putting their client at risk? Are they branding properly? Because regardless of the fact that, like, yes, every team lead and every agent wants their own brand, but there's actually D4 guidelines, and most of Hampton Roads doesn't comply at all. But like, for instance, stuff like that would prevent somebody from working at Iron Valley because I want to do things by the letter of the law, because I'm not going to accept your ignorance as my liability.
Yeah. I agree.
So it's like, it's just a different thing. So, so if you're going to go from, are you going to rock this structure as just a team lead? Are you going to open your own firm? Are you going to, it sounds like you like teaching people. Are you going to open a school? Maybe you do a program or you know what I'm saying? Like, there's so many moves, man. There's moves. There's moves. Like, you're so young.
And
it's crazy.
The crazy
lot
thing
of
is,
options.
you can have that plan right now, and 6 months it changes.
It might change. Yeah,
Exactly.
for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. So do you have like sales goals? Do you have units goals? Do you have a mission and vision statement? Like, what are we
course.
rocking with the assets?
Yeah. So when it comes to assets, like, we're a smaller team structure right now. What I plan on making is within 2 years, I want to be in 2 different markets. 2 teams in 2 different markets at least. We have some things in the works right now that I can't necessarily speak on, but we definitely got some big things in the works also.
Tell me so I can tweet about it.
But we got some big things in the works. And then I would say that's within 2 years now. Within 5 years,
You got some people getting licensed in Carolina or up in DC?
I would say Richmond is a market I'm really looking into. Also DC, because I already have connections there. So my thing is too, like, people, my agents too, they're like, oh my God, you always traveling, do all these things. They're like, you're always on vacation. I'm actually really not always on vacation. Most of the time when I'm traveling, I'm actually building real relationships.
Yep.
Like, I was just in DR last month, and people thought I was on a vacation, but I was actually speaking to a broker in DR, like, just building that relationship. Because as you know, when you're trying to, establish a firm in a different location, it's not just like you're interviewing a person, you just automatically make a firm. No, you got to build and cultivate that relationship a little bit, and then you plant that flag there.
Yep.
So I'm just going to do the same concept, and I see assets as a nationwide brand, really. And that's why I didn't want to brand it necessarily. Even though I love the 757, I didn't want to brand it 757 base.
Right.
Because I feel like this can go on a huge scale.
Yeah, it's a universal concept.
Exactly.
So you need a good national brand
Yes, 100%.
to attach it to. Mm-hmm. I like it.
Fun fact, do you know an individual by the name Andrew Walker? Like, let me go back.
Drew. Foot Locker. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So him and I just closed on a house yesterday.
Nice, congrats.
Funny story, but you sold me 4 pairs of shoes.
I sold you 4 pairs
You
of
worked
shoes?
at the Lynn Haven and Foot Locker, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember this.
Man, I was nice. I would tell you I was nice at Foot Locker. I was always like top salesperson in the district. I'm telling you,
love
like,
it, man. I
not
love
even
it.
to my own horn, but
I love it.
Foot Locker was fun.
Yeah.
That's where I really kind of started my development of sales. Well,
Yeah.
even before Foot Locker. Funny story, what I used to do was I sold shoes before Foot Locker. But my thing is, like, I wasn't one of those kids growing up, because I was the oldest before. I wasn't one of those kids growing up that was like, okay, mom, dad, these new Jordans came out for Christmas. Like, I want these and I'm going to get those. No, the rule was I couldn't have shoes more expensive than my dad, which is cool when I was a kid. But once you start getting to a men's size, it's like, all right. And he's just getting like $90 Air Forces. I can't get any Jordans with that.
Yeah.
So my thing was, all right, what I did literally was at school, I would go to the lost and found every single day. I'm looking in the lost and found. And I wasn't mean, I would say. I would leave, like, I would give people a week to collect their stuff, like their shoes, their nice clothes. And if it was there for more than a week, I'm taking it.
It's yours.
And I'm selling it. I'm putting it
They
either
ain't
on,
serious about it, right?
I'm telling you, I'm selling it either on Facebook
No,
Marketplace.
you're not
or
selling it. You're
Play-Dohs.
just rehoming.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
And that's how I was able to start getting some money. And that's how how I was start getting in sales too. Literally, I'm 12, 13 years old, selling things to 30, 35-year-old, phone posits to 30-year-old men.
Right.
You know?
So you want assets to grow.
Mm-hmm.
We'll call it regionally next.
Yep, regionally.
That fair?
Mm-hmm.
You want to be autonomous by 30.
Mm-hmm.
So, not to put you on the spot, but who are you grooming? You got some ideas for your replacement?
We're already in the motion with that right now. So that's one thing I've really honed in these past couple of months. Because what I realized is to grow, I got to take my hands off, in a sense. Like instead of all the agents coming to me with like picker things, things like that. What I have now in place, I have I have 2 sales managers in place. Also introducing a mentor-mentee program. So it's just different levels, right? So if I get a brand new agent now, instead of going directly to the top, okay, you have an SOP manual, which discusses everything in any process. If you can't have your question answered with your SOP, then you go to your mentor. If your mentor can't answer it, it goes to the sales manager. Sales manager can't answer it, then it goes to a higher sales manager. And then if it still can't be answered, then it'll come to me. But the goal is by the time it gets to the sales manager, it's already handled. So I'm putting different people in place, which is painful, I will say. Hiring people is definitely painful. It's like, man, sheesh, like all this money, like our payroll is.
Did you read the manual? I'm sure you're saying that.
Yeah, it's tough, but I mean, it's worth it at the end of the day. You know, even when it comes to hiring top talent too, because what I used to try to do was I would try to get people for cheap, you know?
Yeah.
But when you pay for cheap things, you get cheap results. And I kept on having cheap results. I'm like, all right, I'm tired of this.
Start cheap, you stay cheap.
Exactly. So I'm bringing in top talent now. But my thing is like, okay, even if I have to pay, say I got to pay somebody $100,000 for a role, right? Okay, if they can bring my business an extra $300,000 this year,
Doesn't matter.
Okay, no brainer for me. It's just simple math for me. It's all about your ROI. That's what really matters to me at the end of the day.
Yeah, for sure.
Favorite color?
Favorite color?
Off topic.
Gold.
Okay.
If gold's people say gold's not a color, but I'll say
Yes,
gold's
it
my
is.
favorite
I
color.
think gold's a color.
Yeah, that's a
Favorite
If they don't think it's a color, we're not going to discuss why they don't think that. We'll just leave that where it is.
5 random
We don't
questions.
get along.
Favorite football team?
Commanders, man. We're snapping this year.
You got a quarterback
Trash,
finally.
man. Like,
You are
but
ride
this
or
year-
die, boy.
Yes, you
yeah,
are.
dang.
Jaden Daniels, shout out to LSU, breeding them.
Yes,
Jesus.
sir.
Look, the Rams won a Super Bowl. They could do it too.
Big facts.
Yeah. Well, it's because they moved though. That's why.
Yeah.
Best basketball player of all time.
Kobe,
Yeah.
man, come on.
Oh,
now.
wow.
Kobe,
Okay,
bro.
okay.
I literally have a tattoo on my arm.
Okay,
like,
mama.
I
Got
don't
it.
care what the stats say, man. It's just the mindset. That's what does it for me.
But now,
Man, you're going to get random DM clips with me sending you Kobe talking about how great Michael is and why he exists because of him.
Mike's cool and all, but you see, I'm younger. That's the
Ah,
thing.
that's what it now he calling me old.
yeah, that's
I
what
was
he just
born in
did.
'99.
He like,
right?
yo, no disrespect, but
So when look, when
Like I was
went
graduating high school. 99.
yeah, I was partying for Y2K. He was being born.
Yeah.
Wow.
So Mike was on the
Fuck
Wizards.
that. I'm still pretty. You know what I'm saying?
Mike was on the Wizards
Damn.
when I started watching basketball.
Damn.
Or I think he was
was-
retired. so
yeah,
it's
he's like 40.
And those like old YouTube clips, those are cool and all, but I actually got to see Kobe play. You
Yeah.
know, and same thing. Like I can see why people say LeBron's the GOAT.
Well,
but
yeah, no doubt.
LeBron don't have the mindset of Kobe.
That
so
is
that's what does it.
my
exactly.
thing with it. Is
Yeah,
just like
the
he's
mindset, man.
he's grinding, but for me, it's leading others. Like
Yeah.
like he shows up to the Lakers. I was just like, fuck. He ain't gonna push nobody to shit.
Yeah.
Except to a championship the year Kobe died. But I'll stop.
Sure.
I'll digress
I'm
right
a Lakers
there.
fan though, so I don't
Yeah.
got
I'm a
that
Lakers
shit,
fan.
Yeah, I mean, it's
That
not
year,
like he didn't-
Sure, but
He didn't bring y'all a chip.
all right, so we'll stop there. So I like that.
that was
Listen,
a weird. That was
How
a weird
could you
season.
be so damn good that you bring somebody's city a championship and they still hate on you? That is insane.
This is why I bring it up, because it gets under his skin.
But MJ still my GOAT. I'm just saying,
Yeah.
I'm not going to hate on LeBron. That's
Right.
crazy.
Yeah, I like LeBron.
Like,
I
the
No,
dude is a
every-
legend.
LeBron's done
you
a
can't.
lot.
Oh,
He's done a
well,
lot,
let's
yeah.
switch gears real quick. Have you seen the starting five? It just hit Netflix.
No, I saw it came
Okay.
out. But is it dope?
It's really good.
All right.
Okay.
And I'm not
I've
going
been
to say
waiting for
nothing
that to come
else
out.
because I don't want to spoil nothing.
Yeah.
But it's really good.
Dope. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Gotta check it out, definitely.
Yeah, for sure.
So before we wrap up,
Kobe's
here,
a great pick, though. By the way, like I'm not a
It's great.
Kobe
It's,
hater.
to be
either.
fair, the top 3 picks are Michael, LeBron, or Kobe. It's usually those 3, right?
Yeah. I would
I think
agree.
that's fair.
I think we can
Depends
all
on the
agree
age, though.
here.
You might get somebody.
Listen,
say
my
Bill
number
Russell,
4 guy doesn't
Kareem.
even have a
LeBron
championship.
is going to
you know?
bring you all the other players,
Yeah.
you know, to make it happen.
Let me rephrase this. Within this age demographic,
Yeah.
most
He's a
of the
GM.
time it's those 3, and nobody can argue with any of those 3
Yeah, no
picks.
way.
We can just argue about them,
Yeah,
which is
for
fun,
sure.
right?
Yeah, that's fair.
But it's one of those 3. So
We've had the pleasure of living for all of them.
that is very
Yeah.
true. That is very true. LeBron
That's-
has been the longest out of all of them.
I actually got to
That's-
see Magic Johnson and Michael Jordan.
Yeah,
That
I told-
see,
See,
At
now
the
that's
Western
different.
Forum.
Okay,
and Wilt
okay.
Chamberlain
All right, so-
and all this. He's 65.
But just because,
I
real
told you.
quick, if that's the case, who's Edgar's basketball goat? I have to know this.
No, for me, it's still Jordan.
It's still Jordan. Okay, all right,
okay.
all right, all right. I just, you know,
Jordan.
he's
But
West
it also
Coast,
has
bro.
to go
Like,
with that mindset. Also,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
it's
yeah,
like
it's
the
mindset.
last shot.
Killer.
He's gonna
Strip.
push people. He don't give a fuck.
absolute killer.
I know
Killer
you can see
instinct.
that.
For his
mean, I
mindset,
could-
have you
yeah,
guys
you're right.
read the book Relentless?
Relentless by Tim Grover?
That's
Yeah.
my book, man.
Yeah,
I love that book.
I'm a book guy.
Yeah, me too.
Matter of fact, if you want a copy of mine, I probably got some here. You can take one.
Okay, dope. Yeah,
absolutely.
It's a great book, man.
Just be
The
like a
cleaner,
thanks for
all
coming
that.
in kind of thing. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
for sure. Appreciate that.
Prior to coming in this last random question, what did you know about Edgar, Mike, or myself? Or I, excuse me. You can start
I know you were a DJ. Or start this way.
Start with this guy.
Okay. I didn't know much about Edgar. I know he wears suits, and I know he was with Ryan Serhart recently.
Oh shit!
Yeah, 3
I
pieces.
didn't know
You're
much.
vest
That's
king.
the social media right there.
Yeah,
Good.
social media.
That's what I'm
great.
trying to change.
Yeah,
Good.
I know a good amount about Mike. I would say broker from the bottom. I know a little loose things about your story about starting off as an orphan, then going to the military, and what happened with that, and then now your journey as far as being a broker owner.
Yeah.
Iron Valley. Also know you're very successful, like speaker, books, all of that. So definitely congrats to you for that.
Appreciate that.
Julie, I know you were. What was it? DJ, do your thing.
Mm-hmm.
And you be doing like that.
Yo, everybody knows that. Why?
Yeah, that's super smart.
Everybody
because
knows
it's different.
that, man.
Yeah, it's
Exactly.
super smart.
Everybody knows that. That's funny.
And yeah, I know your cousin. I've had some talks with your cousin too, like on the real estate investing side, things like that.
Gotcha.
Nice.
Yeah.
Dope.
So I'll flip it to now. Do you have any questions you want to ask any of us or all of us?
Yeah. I'll ask everybody one question. Let's make it easy.
Sound
So, knowing what you know now, what would you tell your 26-year-old self?
26?
Yeah, your 26-year-old self. Knowing what you know now.
Man, we're all
To
gonna have
get
to.
to where you're at and beyond.
Wait to have my next children a little bit longer to start being able to free my time up to work harder
Yeah.
at that age, knowing what I know now and doing what I'm doing now at that age. But by 26, I had 3 kids. So
wow.
that's why I put it out there. See what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So, and I love all my kids. Shout
Yeah,
out
of
to
course.
Jadelle, Julian, and John A. Those are my 3 oldest children. And because of them, that gave me,
Who's
I
your favorite?
believe, my oldest work ethic, or shut the fuck up. My, you got me off my track, dog.
He's trying to set you up, bro.
I mean, I wear these glasses because it head blinds me, to be clear. Because this goes
Oh,
translucent
man.
between dark and
You
clear.
see what they do?
So-
You see
Yeah.
this?
There is no lighting in here.
Thank you
just
for
his forehead.
Thank you for fucking my reel up. All right, so my short. All right, I appreciate that.
My content's trash.
You just, God damn it, Edgar. All right.
2024, man.
So 2026, excuse me, when I was 26 years old, I had my 3 children already. Those were the driving forces to either be a deadbeat dad or to be a dad. And the majority of the people where I came from, they were just deadbeats.
Yeah.
They didn't man up to their responsibilities, and that just wasn't my style in general across everything. So I just put my head down and I worked. But the thing that I did is I worked for anything that I wanted to. I worked in retail in the mall. I worked on the radio. I worked in a comedy club. I never had to work in something that I didn't want to do, but I had to work 3 times harder because I wasn't the only one that wanted to do it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that right there, the work ethic was there. I would just take the knowledge that I had and implemented it earlier,
Yeah.
which you have. You see what I'm saying? The difference on that side, you don't have the family, you don't have that other motivation, you have your self-motivation. To be fair, I've most likely I had it before that,
Yeah.
but I can only give credit to my children because
Yeah.
they're the driving force.
That extra fire. Yeah.
Right. So just to go back to your question, implementing the knowledge that I know now that was hidden in school to us at that age and just implementing it faster. Because lucky for you, you have this.
Yeah.
yeah.
You have access more than we did then. That's the main difference.
Yeah.
But you also have to drive. That's huge too.
For sure. That's dope. I appreciate the answer.
I'll be 37 this year, but I got my real estate license in my early 20s. I did it for a decade while I was in the Navy. And if I could go back, I wouldn't have stayed in the Navy for everybody else's reasons. Now, but it's a thing, like there's a caveat because everything happens for a reason, right? Like I do believe that what happened when it was supposed to happen and all that. But in my head, I knew when I was 22 that like real estate was where it was going to be at. Like that was going to lead me to whatever this bigger picture I thought of, which was like in my head, I just see my life as a major motion picture and a $5 million contract. I don't know. Like I've always had a vision of telling my story, impacting people, becoming wildly wealthy, and never taking advantage of or turning my back on people to do it.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I would have left the first time I wanted to leave. I wanted to leave the Navy back in like 2011, man. I ended up not getting out till 2019.
Right.
I was already doing real estate at this time.
Yeah.
Matt Salway used to work for me
Yeah.
in the radar shop at FRC Oceana in the Navy. You know what I'm saying? Me and Eric used to talk in the smoke pit. I helped him and his family buy homes before we ever ran a team or owned a house or owned a company together. Like, I've been doing this.
Yeah.
Just because everyone else wants to recognize it now, that's the thing. That's the most irritating thing is like, I could have been out here killing it. But because I let other people impact my decision making at a certain point in time in my life, that was held back for like another 6 years. And then I really paid the piper when I went through what I went through, which made me choose to leave finally.
Yeah.
At 26, if I wasn't as stubborn, you see what I'm saying? Like I just, oh, they have security, they have good benefits, I got a pension, but it's easy, I'm good at it. Like, no, none of that was the answer. The answer was go do what you love doing.
Yeah.
I was never happy in the Navy.
Yeah.
I knew that, but I got up and went and slaved away every single day for pennies on a dollar, knowing I'm working circles around people and not getting paid the same amount or more, all based on what? Somebody else's feelings?
Yeah.
Yep.
So I would tell my 26-year-old self or any 26-year-old or even yourself, go all in, bet on you, don't fucking listen to nobody. Nobody's opinion matters. They're all, half of them are lying anyway. They don't even know what they're talking about. Like, that's the thing. So go educate and formulate your own opinion. Don't base your opinion on other people's thought processes. I mean, I could go on for days, bro. Yeah. For me, the ascension from 26 to 37 is just, it's crazy. It just is, you know? Let go of the past. Don't hold grudges. Like, move on with harmony and peace. You know what I'm saying? Like, for us, when people leave the company, wish nothing but the best. I don't have no...
Still gonna like your Facebook post. Still like all the other stuff. I mean,
we're still in the same business.
Yeah, there's no ill will. I want good professionals in the real estate industry. Okay. Like, but you also like. That's why I say go all in. Like, I'm not gonna hate on people that were part time because I was for so long. Part time. Yeah. You know, what's part time in real estate? Right, 3 million, I think, something stupid like that. Anything less than that, but. Go all in. Like, why wouldn't you just bet on yourself, man? If you can do it for anybody else, you could do it for you. Yeah. You know, and that's been the most rewarding thing for me is now I control the lid. I always knew I could. Why'd I wait so long, right? Like, that's what I would tell myself. Mike, just do it. Yeah. Don't listen to nobody. Listen to yourself. Because you know what happened when I started listening to myself? Everything started clicking.
But you said, and before you answer, Edgar, you said something that I wanted to say earlier, and this is a very important thing I tell my 26-year-old self. Loyalty will prevent future progress if you are loyal for too long by a fault. You might like them, you might rock with them, they're dope, but if you are going here and they're still here, why am I gonna?
It's okay to let go.
Bring myself down and stay there. Absolutely. I love you, dog. You're my guy. You're my girl. I love this company. I love whatever. No, like that's no. If that's what you see, do it.
You know what? That's fair though. How much have you grown since you made that very hard decision?
Extremely hard decision.
But how much have you grown?
Oh, drastically.
Professionally.
Yeah. But the thing is, it's not even just professionally.
In this field, in this industry.
In this field, huge. And to be fair, and I say this all the time, it's not the brand. It's the people that you're going to be around. Yeah, 100%. That energy is what I was looking for.
The people make the brand.
And the people, exactly. Assets is a dope brand. I love the name, but it's you and the energy, right? Yeah. Show me your 5 friends. I'll show you your future. For sure. That's all facts. You've heard that before. Yeah. And that's what it was. And I had 0 rocks in my shoe where I was at. Like, I love where I was at. But if it wasn't to move from an agent to owner to continue to grow, I still would have been where I'm at. No shade. I would have been. But I was straight up with you guys when I said what I wanted to do. Yeah. So but game recognized game. Not everyone that's going to say that means they really want to do it.
Yeah.
I do it the way that works for me and has worked for me, but everyone has their way it's going to work for them. Who am I to tell you not to do it that way? It obviously freaking works. Let's just remix it and make it work for a collaboration to grow.
Yeah.
That's the thought process. In theory, that's what they said to me. I'm just saying it the way that I would say it, you know,
Yeah,
but that's the big gem that I would drop.
Okay, I appreciate that.
Yeah, 26-year-old me is the same thing.
That was 100 years ago.
I would definitely bet on myself. I would have definitely got out the military earlier. I only did 8 years though.
8 years. He did 8 days.
So what were you doing at that 8-year mark? Like you were supervising the work center. You had the guys that were putting the weapons on the aircraft. Like what was your role?
I was shop supervisor for night shift.
Okay. So, but that's what I'm getting at. He was leading people still, even at that time.
Yep.
Right? Like,
Yeah, but also I was like seeking like real estate, and same thing. It was the comfort.
Yeah.
It was I'm getting a steady paycheck, this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
Then I got out and I started doing the contract work, and I was like, what the fuck did I get out for? I'm still
I'm
doing the same
thing.
shit for a paycheck. It was like, I can't make this happen, right? So definitely betting on yourself. Also, one of the things I've lacked, and I'm teaching my children also, and these guys are doing it, is mentorship. You know,
facts.
Somebody's doing what you want to do, or that lane,
Come alongside them, man.
talk to them, definitely network, you know, take their advice.
Yeah.
And to his point, there's only so long you could listen to those people when you maybe outgrow them and you got to go seek somebody else. You don't necessarily just ruin that relationship. It's just like, okay,
Correct.
I've taken what I can, no disrespect, but now I'm going this way,
Absolutely.
right? Mike's going to, and I've told Mike this from the beginning, and he was doing the whole mentorship, or I was like, you're going to be on stage. Like, I saw that. Like, you're going to be on stage speaking. That's what I see. You're not going to be the mentor that maybe has a little speaking engagement at an event. No, like, you're going to be speaking to the nation at some point. That's his lane, right? I know where that's going. Whereas me, I'm kind of like, I fell off the lane I was going to grow the company, but now I'm kind of back in it because I have my own goals that I have to meet that I never met when I started working in the company. But back then, 26-year-old me, definitely bet on yourself. Take those risks. Seek those relationships that you're going out there, meeting people.
Even just being here today. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Get the mentorship.
put a face to a name, you know,
Definitely.
formulate your own opinion.
Facts.
Because there's a lot of them out there.
Yep.
A lot. Yeah.
Yeah, and execute.
Yeah.
Right? Don't sit back, execute. Now, I had children back then, just like Julian, super young.
Damn, I was a dad too, bro.
Yeah, we all had our backs against the wall, but
Yeah.
we're all of that cloth that we can make it happen.
Yeah,
Like,
no
I'm
doubt.
not scared. Like
Somebody didn't meet a picker deadline.
Yeah.
Like,
Can I ask
your
you
Class A contractor didn't send a receipt yet.
like this country's
You know what I'm
made,
saying?
like honestly, like even back then, like what are you scared of?
Yeah.
Like people are applying for fucking welfare every day
Facts.
in this country. Like, not that I'm gonna go do that. I never would. I'm too prideful. But
Yeah, but you're just saying, like, there's people really struggling. Why not take a risk? You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, I don't know, man. We come from that struggle, so it's
Yeah.
just like, to me, it makes sense to just, you could take everything I have right now. I would figure it out.
yeah, and
I
your
promise
kids,
you
and
that.
your kids are
Like-
gonna be well off, especially what you're talking about, where
All day.
it's like they're gonna start off in a nice little Ferrari to
Yeah. That's the goal.
take
man.
off next.
Give
But
them real nice.
Yeah, I mean, you think about it. I started my first team in 2016. I was a solo agent for 6 years before that. This is gonna sound creepy, but you're kind of like on the same trajectory, right?
Yeah.
That was my 5 or 6 year mark. I had started a team,
Yeah.
and I was still in the Navy. So just
Yeah.
imagine how quickly you could ascend if you really want
Facts.
to,
Yeah.
or however you choose to. Like, tell your 26-year-old self that you could do whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah.
I think that's the moral of the story from all of us. Like,
Yeah.
but you'll never do it if you don't do what he's saying, which is go seek those relationships, go alongside the right people, people that are willing to give that information.
don't look, and also it's in the beginning. It's not about the money.
I agree.
Definitely not about the money. It's
Yeah.
about the knowledge and your time.
Yeah.
I got a random ass question before we end up here, just because you say things and it just makes me think of something that I don't actually know about you. I have an idea about you, and I have an idea about
All
you.
right, so we got another question. That's what Julian's saying.
Yeah, it takes a
What's
while
up,
to
man?
Was your
go through that
was your
little
dad in
wheel.
your life?
Huh?
Was your original dad in your life?
To a point,
It's
bro. He
to,
was in
to, a,
prison.
to a yes or no? And to your opinion, no.
No.
You.
You know the answer.
No.
No.
Neither was mine. Was yours.
Yes.
That's where my point is.
Ooh.
All of us had kids at a young age with an absent father, then not thinking it was a big deal. Now looking back, being that father, understanding how big of a deal it is. So another thing I would tell my 26-year-old self,
Wow.
Chris, you had a dad and a mother.
Yeah.
You don't have children yet. You're laser focused.
Yeah.
Stay on that grind. And if it was me and I had no kids at your age right now, I wouldn't start until 30. Because I gave my 20s to be selfish to me to grow to the next level.
Seriously, that's great advice.
Yeah, I agree.
Although being a father early like pushed me to do certain things,
Correct.
the life I could have gave my kids if I was slightly more prepared, man.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Maybe I didn't stay in that toxic relationship. Maybe I don't end up going through a divorce. You know, you can live in what if.
Yes.
But what he's saying is sound advice, I think. I mean,
Yeah,
you don't
I
even
agree.
have a maturity. You don't even possess a maturity level yet, but you may. At 26, 27, to really lock into one human, to really lock into regimen, to really cast your future. And you know what I'm saying? Like, you're still learning life. Like,
What's your picture like? Married, 2, 3, 4, 5 kids?
dang.
But long term,
Yeah.
definitely. I definitely want to get married. You know,
Do you want that big family? or
But
just
you're
want a nice
single
little
right
two-
now.
2 or 3 kids.
If you're not married, you're single.
Yeah.
Shh, don't say that.
Yeah.
I said it
If
all
we're talking
up.
about not married, right?
You're not
I'm
married.
not trying to get nobody
I'm
in
not
trouble
married.
out here.
No. You're not married. But all I'm
Do you
saying
have
is,
a
like,
relationship?
I do have a relationship.
Okay. Because I was about to let everybody know that Chris was single, but Chris is not single.
Yeah.
We're not going to put that out. We won't disclose anything, but you know, there just might be some women out there wondering. I'm just saying, a successful young man such as yourself, you know, what's he got? What's he
for
got going
sure.
on in the ears over there? He's blinging over there.
Yeah, appreciate you,
Yeah,
man. You know, just little diamonds.
Something
got one up
slight.
here,
Something slight.
My girl actually got
Assets.
me
Love
these.
it. There you go. Assets in
Assets.
the ear. That's right. That's a
Not the
mic
assets
drop.
being
We got to stop
encouraged.
right
And I was about to
there.
say, and on that note,
That's it. That's the outro, man.
ended it with the assets word. Chris, thank you for coming on today, bro.
Most definitely.
Seriously.
Appreciate y'all for having me.
And you're
Absolutely.
20, and when that, since we asked all these 26-year-old questions, we got to have you back in less than a year,
Okay.
or when you turn 26 to see
Yeah.
what that 12-month trajectory was.
Can't
Deal?
wait.
Yeah.
Signing
I love
out. Sphere, Mike Little, Julian, Chris. Later.